Yes.
I think you ladies like that. You're all tied together.
Yes.
Good evening, Scano. It's really amazing to see these women. I've been waiting for this today, and as I just said to you, I'm actually going to remove myself from the room so I can enjoy this visit in my space this evening. So it's really wonderful to see your beautiful faces and everyone that's joining you. I feel the energy that people are just, they really need to connect to the messaging and the love that you women share with the world, not just your families, but what you do in every day, and sharing love vibrationally, is it's really what the grandmothers are all about. So uh, just so if you guys ever get feedback or anything in your little boxes there, just mute yourself. If you're not talking, that usually helps with the sound. And if you look on the right side of your screen, you can actually see the comments if you do want to watch them.
Oh,
Um,
that's a
yeah,
first
I
time.
know you need learn something new every day, huh?
Yes.
It's really wonderful to see everyone, and enjoy your visit. I love you all.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Noah.
Jody.
Yep.
Thank you.
Noah.
I'd love to take this opportunity to thank Jody. She's our inventor, creator slash beautiful woman who has taken us to where we are today. She's a mover and a shaker, and her wisdom is way beyond her years. And I guess that kind of happens. We seem to develop that wisdom, and it comes from here, somewhere, and we get on this mission. And she has really stepped up there, and I don't know how to thank her enough for everything that her and Sherry and Grandma Renee and Cindy Lee and Jackie and all the other grandmothers have shared. And I want to introduce you also to my beautiful friend Susan. Now, this woman and me have been on some real adventures, and we're talking about the full moon tonight. And sometimes that moon, had us acting in roles that were like characteristic of the moon. They were, beautiful adventures, and we found ourselves many times uh, having to, like, I guess, be the force, be the force, and to overcome all that we faced, and we did it well. Did it well. So she's my sister, and we have been sisters for like many, many, many years now. And those sacred journeys that we've taken will always be really special in my heart. And also, just a little quickie, because I know we're talking about the moon tonight, but it was Susan and I also that had the vision for the grandmother's circle the earth. And so we did lots of world travel, going around the world and being able to share teachings, and teachings about the moon, teachings about whatever it was that was needed, wherever we went. And so it's an honor, Susan, to have you. And, and of course, our beautiful Jackie. I mean, like, for those of you in the Niagara region and Haudenosaunee country, everyone knows our beautiful Jackie, and the knowledge carrier that she is brings out that beautiful, beautiful essence of who we are as Ongwehongwe people. And I'm so blessed to have her as uh, as my friend as well, because boy, what a strong team. What a strong team. So um, I would just like to start out by, we usually start out by offering a little bit of a blessing or a little bit of a prayer, because, that's how you start anything sacred. It's with um, putting it into that very sacred space where the ancestors can come through, and then they can share the words that come through so that we can speak. And I remember years ago it was really hard. Like at this point, I'd be fumbling, because oh no, I'm on a film. Somebody can watch me. Oh no, it's fine to talk in front of people, but on the waves, it kind of was a little bit difficult. But I believe I've overcome that now, because I was kind of forced to. So, so we usually start with a little bit of an opening, and we all acknowledge our ancestors. So we acknowledge, the plants and us as human beings, and the trees, and basically all life. Because without the essence of all life, we wouldn't couldn't exist without a special relationship that we have. So a lot of times we forget that we as humans also need to be patted on the back. We need that pat on the back as well. So we honor us as human beings because we're here to walk a sacred path, and we want to honor that. When we talk about the plants and the foods, we talk about our sustenance. We talk about the essence of those little beauties, as they nurture and they grow, and they give and they receive and they love, and we feel that essence every time that we're blessed with our sustenance on a daily basis. And sometimes our food has changed, but we still have that opportunity to put our hands over top our food and to put that blessing into whatever it is that we're eating, to make it whole for us. Once again, we have to acknowledge the swimmers, and we have to acknowledge the sky, those who the flyers, and the important work that is done on so many levels here on grandmother earth, that we um, have to also acknowledge the relationship that mother earth has with grandma moon. That's the topic that we could spend a whole hour on. We acknowledge and give thanks that we have the thunder beings, and we acknowledge and give thanks that we have the sky people and grandma moon and father sun and all of creation. Our ancestors, they work so closely with us, every day, every hour, every minute, and we are never alone. And that is a good feeling, to know that we are never alone. And that grandmother, she gives us that hug. And sometimes she has to like kind of hide, and she has to get small, because we as human beings also have to like take our responsibility too. And sometimes she's bright and shiny, and she's saying, "Look at me. I'm here to give you the blessings that you are asking for." And then she shrinks again. And so, I mean, there's just so many things we can say about our beautiful grandmother. So as we also talk about our creator, we acknowledge that we are we are made from creators likeness, and also that without our creator we would certainly be in a much different place. Our creator hears us, feels us, sees us, because we are all part of that, and so we are part of that human creation as well. So, so that's just kind of like a quick overview of, let's get our minds and hearts together so that we can have this beautiful conversation about our grandmother. So with that, I guess I'm going to ask Jackie if she would mind saying some words about, our grandmother, or whatever it is she'd like to say. Also to introduce yourself also in a, in your way. Yeah.
Okay, now, Sego, Skanagoa, everyone. Tigaya Dakwas Onkats, Ganya Gehage. My English name is Jackie, and my native name as a Mohawk woman, Turtle Clan, is Tigaya Dakwas. And it's my honor to be here again with everyone. And I know it's challenging of what we can do and look at. We're hopefully we can stay connected. I know it's going to be a challenge trying to see or connect with folks if they're putting things in our chat thing here because it's kind of like going back and forth, I guess. But um, just to have that connection, of everyone, and how we are able to come together. And I say Nyawa to Gail for offering those words up to get us started in our circle here this evening. And when we look and we're reminded of our grandmother Moon, that she's part of that Galung Yage, that sky world, and we're reminded that she is one of the two suns, and she's that nighttime sun. And I know last night, wow, she pokes herself out there pretty early, eh? Like it was like 5:30, and then even last night I go to the window and check and see every so often, and she was pretty bright out there last night. And my partner was thinking it was a full moon there last night and even the night before, but here she is, and she is in that beauty. She is in that beautiful place now, and we're reminded that she's the one that takes care of all of the waters. So even today we've had it come down in one form, but over the last few days it's been in different forms, that it comes to us. And so we've had the rain today, and we've in a few days ahead too, we're going to get some more of that snow, that white fluffy stuff to help cover her a little bit longer, just to ensure that that rest is continued, I guess, and to help her to be in a good place for what she needs to do and the work that she needs to prepare for as we go through the days ahead. And with that, we recognize that that we have like a big responsibility, especially as us as the female energy here within this creation. It's within us that the women who prepare the first waters of the world, and we all started in that place, within that sacred water of our mothers. And when we come and ready to come into this world, it's that water that comes first, and it helps us on that journey. It makes that little transition from that one place to this physical a smoother place, a smoother ride, to come into this place. And so we offer that gratitude for all of those gifts of those waters. That first one that we experience, and from that point on, we see and realize that we need those waters each and every day for the rest of our life, for the rest of the time that we're walking here on this Mother Earth. We need those waters. Maybe just for the times that we choose to give it up for a while in our ceremonies, like our fastings, where we see and I guess really look at what those are all about, what those waters are about, what that gift is for us. And when we give it up for a few days or one day even, to really see and recognize that connection that we have with those waters. It continues with life throughout all of our days here. So even one of the things that I've seen and looked at is with a Japanese scientist, Dr. Emoto, and the work that he did scientifically proving what our ancestors and what we have known for years and years and years, that water has spirit, water has energy, and he showed that in the work that he did. And so with that, we need to, I guess, be reminded and just work from that Ganeko Leo, that good mind. We need to be in that place, and sometimes we need to remind ourselves, because it's so easy to kind of slip out of that, and we need to be able to come back to that, have that good mind, and work with that good mind for our journey. And with those waters, then wow, we're reminded that each of our bodies is like 70% water. As adults, we're 70% water, and that's also the ratio of our Mother Earth. And so we see it in different forms on Mother Earth. And like for me in this area, in Niagara, it's in so many places, in so many ways, and it's beautiful. We've got a lot of waterfalls, a lot of little waterfalls, creeks, streams. And earlier today, I drove with a friend, and we went along the Niagara Parkway just to be able to be by that water, and to see the mist from the falls, and the good energy, the good medicine that is, and what that can do for us, is in being with those waters and recognizing and knowing where that can take us, because we do need it every day. Okay? And having that good mind, putting good thoughts out there, we can do some wondrous things for the waters within this whole creation. And I've got my moon water here, and part of it, I guess, I just wanted to just to see and to acknowledge that that water takes on the form of its container, right? And so here I've got a different type of glass here I've been using for the last little while, and you can see how it's shaped. Come along here, and it bevels in, and then it's got another like a little almost saucer on top. But that water takes the shape of this container, and so even for us, we're this container, and the water that's within us, it takes our form. And so we need to be mindful of how we're handling that water, how we're treating that water. Right? So with that good mind, we can continually be putting good prayers, good words, good things out there for the water, because our water feels that. Okay? Dr. Emoto scientifically proved that water, the structural change of water can happen when you're putting good words there, when you're putting even good music, okay? And even good pictures. I've seen some things of the water being set next to beautiful pictures. And so that also reminded me of one of the elders said, for us to be in a good place, for us to be beautiful, we need to have beautiful surroundings. And so I think that just helps to reinforce where we are with those waters. We need it. We need it every day. For as Haudenosaunee, all aspects of our life is about water. We use it every day when we get up. Throughout our day, we're using it for our cooking. We're using it for making our medicines. We're using it for even our pottery, and the beautiful people that know work with the pottery, even the medicine of our lacrosse sticks and those games of our lacrosse sticks, even our baskets. And some of these things are hundreds and hundreds of years old. That knowledge, it's put out there for us, and that's what helps us to remind us that that water is a part of everything. It's a part of us. And so I think that's one of the messages for me, is that to be reminded that those waters take on the shape of its container. And if we're that container, then we need to be careful of that container, because it's pretty fragile, right? It can be pretty fragile. And so put positive things, have that good energy there, because when we were created with that positive and negative energy. And it's our choice of which one we use. And wow, what I've seen, the kind of the magic of what happens when you use that positive energy. So with that, and all of the water that comes, and we can just keep offering our gratitudes for it. And we might not appreciate it all the time if it's coming down for days and days, or even in its different forms. But when we look at the basis of it, we can be very grateful for it. And so grateful for each other within that, because if we're 70% water, we're connected to each other in that way. So with that good, kind energy, I offer that out to you tonight, and with the gifts and the magic medicine of our grandmother Moon, that she brings that to us with that beautiful light, that beautiful energy to each and every one. Yawa.
Oh my gosh, Jackie, thank you so much for those beautiful reminders and those beautiful words. You know, you can just feel the energy. And as you were talking, I could just see me laying in the water, night of the full moon, lots of stars, you know, feeling that energy. I was going, my goodness, that's got to happen. It would be nice to be the ocean. Or someplace really warm and tropical. But I mean, no matter where you are, you know, to feel the essence of that beautiful Grandma Moon's energy and that water. So, Miss Susan, would you like to say a few words?
Mahalo nui loa. My name is Susan Ka'iulani Stanton. I'm born on the Ahupua'a of Manoa in Honolulu, Manawahu in Hawaii. And I am Haudenosaunee. Through what I am learning now is some past of mine that I wasn't aware of as I was growing up. I'm like that little baby kangaroo that had to find my way back home to my mother's pocket. And I have, thanks to Gail and Grandmother Renee, and thanks to the journey that I've been on in my lifetime. I would like to honor the words that you spoke about yours, Gail, first. I'd like to honor the things that you said, and I'm grateful for them, and also your words about the water, the things that were said about the water. And I'm going to begin by acknowledging what I know about the snow moon, that the snow moon is the last moon of the winter, and that there are other tribes that call her the bone moon, because this was the period of hunger. Because of all the snow, it was harder to be able to find the different foods that were necessary. So there was a lot of things also for the bone moon to be eating bones. People would eat bones, things, And I thought that was very interesting. I live here right now, even though I was born in Hawaii. I live here on the Mississippi River. I live on the east side facing west. And the moon comes overhead in my house here probably about 1 a.m. And then I get to watch her as she crosses the river. And she throws this beautiful stream of moonlight on the river. So this morning, I'm sorry, I only have my little camera in my phone, because I got to take the pictures this morning of her descending down into the Mississippi River at the same time that the sun is beginning to glow behind me in the east. And it was such a beautiful experience. It always is. I love to be here with her in the moon. I brought some water with me too. It's just a tiny little bottle. There's water in here that I collected when I was with Gail from different places that we've been to. There's some water here from a glacier that was melting in Greenland. And there's waters from Hawaii and New Zealand and from Cook Channel down between South and North Island in New Zealand, where there's a beautiful spring. Wherever we go, the water is there, and it's a beautiful responsibility that we have to protect that water. So I had the opportunity to go to Standing Rock, and then also here in Mississippi Stand, where we had that same DAPL oil pipeline coming under the Mississippi River. And we all know that story there. And so, we're at a place now where we really need to know where we are and who we stand up for. So I want to share with you that last night, the water also was very sacred in my life, as my granddaughter, her water broke and she gave birth to my very first great-grandchild, my great-grandson. And when he was born, that shifted something in me, because now I have another generation that I'll be working for. And it was really powerful. This past Monday, I turned 73. I had my 73rd birthday. And I spent the day alone. My husband's here, but he has some problems now because he drank the Camp Lejeune drinking water when he was in the Marine Corps. And Gail knows my journey. I've been going through this for quite some time, and she's helped me with it. So we don't have that much that we can talk about anymore. So for the most part, I was alone on my birthday. And my daughter didn't call me until almost midnight. She said, "Mom, how was your birthday?" I said, "Oh, it was terrible." She said, "What do you mean it was terrible?" I said, "It was awful." I said, "Jen, do you realize that I'm as old as Grandma was when she died? And Grandma was really, really old." And she said, "What?" I said, "She was in her 80s. And she started laughing at me. She goes, "Mom, you're 73. Grandma was 80. And she said, "Oh, somehow that missed me completely. I didn't get that. I thought I was old as my mother. So now I'm young again." So that's really beautiful. So I'm going to share something with you. This is a very sacred story, okay? This is why just minutes before this broadcast, when my beautiful sister Gail, who always puts me on the spot, sent me a message and said, come on with me in a few minutes. And I said, of course I will. Of course. Now, I want you to know, Gail, it's because there's a reason why. All right. I'm going to read this now. If you don't mind, I'm going to share this with everyone. I just posted it on Facebook 1 minute before Gail called me. So today it begins. I put all my crystals together for the final calling in of the blessing to begin my book. The first book I started, I was 6 and never finished it. My family has been trying to get me to write it ever since. So the deal was I would wait until the Eagle's Nest, our new home here, closed and then begin. That was 3 weeks ago. But stuff happened, one thing after another, and every day for 3 weeks, I would say tomorrow. And then early today, my great-grandson was born, and I said tomorrow for the very last time. Everything is ready to go. Now, I just went outside a minute ago. I said to put my chickens and ducks away for the night. It took a little longer than usual because I had to scold the rooster for picking on my ducks. I did all my chores, came out of the garage, headed for the house, and suddenly a huge bald eagle with his wings spread wide and his beautiful white tail feathers fully fanned sailed low over the slanted roof of our house, headed right toward me, and pooped as he went. I never saw anything like it. A massive amount of poop. Huge. I called, hey, what's up with that? And I laughed as he soared over my head, not 20 feet above me. And I swear he was smiling. I came on in the house and I picked up my phone and I said, okay, Google. Oh, wait, she's going to talk to me. Hold on. I got to make sure she doesn't listen. I don't want to talk to you, Google. I said, okay, Google, what does it mean when a bald eagle poops on your house? Here's what she said. If a bird poops on you or anything you own, it's said to be good luck. The Russian superstition is based on the rare odds of actually being pooped on by a bird. A rabbit's foot or a horseshoe might be the more traditional objects relating to the symbol of good luck, but honestly, nothing will be as strange as bird poop. She said it. She said it. I swear to you. With as many beautiful birds as there are in the sky, it's supposedly more rare to be pooped on by one than it is to win the lottery. Naturally, this prompts many people to play the lottery when they do get pooped on by a winged wayfarer. And then it says, can you imagine having a winning ticket for the Powerball after getting pooped on by a bird? Now, that would be some good fortune. Now, I don't gamble for the most part, I said, but I had just lit my smudge and called in a blessing for my desk and asked for inspiration to finally finish my great novel, and it came. And then I said, hopefully, it was about the day the Russians and the rest of the world decide to make love, not war. I'm going to give them all my blessing. But the eagle poop stays on the roof. Now, what I would like to share is that we don't have much really say over what happens. We like to think we do. We like to think that everything's in our hands, that when we get up in the morning, at least I do, and I turn it all over to Creator, and then I say to him, this is what I would like to happen. And I would like it to be just this way because I have these things that I need to accomplish, and I'm going to ask you for your help. And I can almost guarantee you that it will be nothing like what I think it's going to be. And I have learned that over these years. And so as Gail and I traveled, and it is true, we had some amazingly strange experiences. And we would be asked to do huge things. And we would look at each other and say, of course we will. And we did it every single time. Every time we were given by Spirit those things that we were asked to provide. And one of the things that I learned was that I don't have anything to say about it. And the best thing I can do is to get out of my own way. And that when I do that, and I remember who the moon is, and I remember my relationship with the sun, and I remember that I am 70% water, and that Creator moves upon the waters with his breath and with his words and with his thoughts, then all I need to do is sing, and it all comes together. So these past few days, I was on another call with Catherine Longboat. It was right after my birthday. I didn't even tell her that. I just realized I was no longer old like I was on Monday. But it was the most beautiful thing. And here I am with you guys, and I'm far away. I'm on the Mississippi River, but I'm with my sisters. And it's such a beautiful, wonderful thing. So my granddaughter's name is Maya Janae Mahealani. Mahealani means heavenly moonlight. Mahealani, and I share that name with each of you. And ha, in Hawaii, our word ha is so powerful because it's our breath. And so people say when we say aloha, oh, it means hello, goodbye, I love you. What it actually means is alo is life and ha is our breath. So it means that with the breath of my life, I love you. With the breath of my life, I greet you. And there is no word for goodbye. So with the breath of my life, I've looked forward to the next time when we're going to be together. And so I share that as well with you, my ha, and my waters here on the Mississippi River, and my love for the beautiful snow moon as we leave now this period and start moving toward the spring. And so tonight, we're finding out that we're going to have a really interesting snow tomorrow. Some weather's been saying 3 to 5 inches. Others say more, several more inches than that. And then it's supposed to be snow with ice underneath it. And we cannot get out of our house when it's like that. So my husband and I are prepared to just go inside and spend whatever time that is being here and being together beside the river under the moonlight. And so I'm just really grateful to be with all of you. I just cannot believe this joy. And it all goes back to the eagle pooping on my house.
Oh my God. Susan, you have such a beautiful essence in your writing. You were encouraged to write like years ago. All you have to do is go back through your Facebook post. You've got a book, because oh my God, that eloquent way that you speak and feel and express is very amazing. So it won't take you long to write that book at all. Yes, I read about your grandson coming, and it was so exciting. As you said, oh, it's almost time. Today's the day, and to know that he finally made it. Wow, what a joy, what a blessing, that is, and that name. Wow, that name. That is, I don't know, amazing. That's such a beautiful name. So congratulations for that. One of the things that we also look at is the time of year. It's about the different seasons. It's about getting a mixed bag of different weather. And like you said, here it's going to be the same mixed bag. We don't know what to expect. We know that today was like spring, and tomorrow it's going to start like spring, but then it's going to turn right back to winter again. And, the heavy rain and then the snow coming. But I was looking at the river today as I went by, and it was starting to glisten again, because the water or the snow had melted, and it was sheer ice. But it looked so beautiful. The sun, kind of the sun. It was kind of cloudy, but there was still this like essence, on the river. And I remember being told years ago that I had to look for the beauty, but I didn't have to look too far today, because the beauty was right there. And even tonight, the beauty is you can feel it, you can see it, you can taste it, and you can touch it. It's so beautiful. So This also is the time of year when we start to prepare for the tapping of the trees. So for us, it's about getting ready for the trees to open. So we do our sacred ceremony to open the trees and to allow that force of life to come forth. And they haven't done it in a few years, but I remember carrying those pails, and but it was so interesting and so exciting to be out in the bush. And one year, Alfred Key was giving some lessons to some of the children. I think it was a program that Norma and my sister Bonnie had put together. And so there was the children who were out in the bush, and he was there. He was trying to give some teachings, and I didn't think the children were listening. I thought, they really should be listening a little bit more than they are. So we had gone back inside, and I says, okay. I said, so what did you learn? And I started asking them questions. Do you know those kids had all the answers? It was like, wow. It kind of wowed me because they had all of those answers, all of those questions from just listening and just being kids and just, doing what kids do. And they were in there and they were coloring. But I thought, wow, you know, and it also brings us to that place of what is a mother, what is a grandmother, what is parenting, what are our roles? And our roles are to create those experiences so that they can make up their own minds and they can decide how to decipher, the circumstances that they go through. But that was a very beautiful moment, and I'll always remember that. They got every single question right. I was just going, wow. So what does the tapping of the trees mean for us? And again, it's related to that bone moon because it was that first sign when we started to nourish our bodies again. We had very carefully and humbly collected everything that we thought we needed to get us by. But, sometimes things happened and we weren't able to access, our stores and food or whatever that we had, or sometimes maybe we didn't have enough. There's all kinds of circumstances that happened when, back in the day. And sometimes it was just that drink of that first maple water that brought back that life, to our people. And when we take that first drink of life, it could be called the drink of life, we are reminded that even the trees carry that element of water. And it's not just maple trees that you can tap. There's many different types of trees you can tap. Although the different trees, they have different times of the year for tapping. So if anybody likes the taste of walnut, walnut trees, that's a good tasting water. Anyways, love walnuts. And that water is just so good. And of course you can feel, and of course the walnut also represents, if you look at a walnut, it looks like the brain. So it's a brain food as well. So when you drink that sap water from the walnut tree, you're getting that nourishment for your brain that's needed. Our old teachings had everything to do with survival, had everything to do with how do we follow the moon so that we know when to plant, when to let be, when to garden, when to harvest. Everything about our essence comes from the cycle of our grandmother. And it's like that big grandmother hug that we all need sometimes. Tonight is that night where, whether you can see grandma or not, it's like maybe she's visiting somewhere else, but you know that she's there, and you can go out and you can feel the love that grandmother is sending. It's her blessing to us all. And that blessing is something that we can put forward. We can put forward to those in need. Our community has been rocked by so many death, so much death lately. It's like, you go on your news feed, or you just hear of all the passing of so many beautiful people. And I remember grandfather Leon Secretero, he talked about the time was coming when this was going to happen, but little did we know that he was going to start that journey and that it was going to happen shortly after he passed.
Mhm.
He talked about the need to prepare for us, and that the I guess they it had some relationship to the comets. So they rode the comets to that place where they were preparing for us, where we come. And of course, I didn't quite understand, what that means, and I probably won't understand that until it's my turn to ride that comet as it flies through the sky. But many of our loved ones have chose to go and prepare for us, and so it's a blessing and an honor that we still have this connection, even though we don't even realize what it is to that life and death aspect. So, grandmother, she's also about being stern when you need to be stern. Grandmothers aren't always loving and kind. They're always loving and kind, but they're having to sometimes to just you know take that little extra tone with their voice, because sometimes if you're just all loving and kind and flubbery, uh, they try to think they can walk all over you. But once you say, "Hey, what are you doing in there?" "Oh, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing, Grandma. It was my brother or somebody else." "Okay, who knocked that over? Who has to clean that up?" "It wasn't me. It wasn't me." You know. Sometime, okay, well, I don't know who it was, but it better get picked up. So sometimes you have to be that grandmother. So just like Grandmother Moon, sometimes that grandmother has to let us know that there are actions to our actions. And actions to our actions sometimes mean uh, I was just watching or something posted about the next 30 years and how the oceans are going to rise by 10 inches. So imagine 10 inches. So that brought me back to a time years ago when I was watching as developers were developing all along the coast of the US and Canada, and they were stripping away all of those swamps, all of that filtering system for our waterways. And I knew that the time was coming when there was going to be many issues with our water. And so what we're experiencing is all man-made. We have the opportunity to make those changes and to replant and to regrow and to allow those spaces to be, because even our groundwater, uh, it's you can't drink the groundwater anymore, and it's really sad to me that you can't drink the groundwater. And I would just like to share a message that came through one of our beautiful grandfathers from Africa. His name was Mandaza, and I don't know, some of you may or may not have had a chance to meet him. He was called. It all started with a conversation about bone set, and I said, "Oh, yes, I know where to find that." And so I took him to our river, and when he went to our waters, what he did was so beautiful. He introduced himself and all of his relatives to the water. "This is who I am, and this is where I'm from." And he is known for his ability to work with the waters. And the waters spoke to him and told him, "We are sick. We need your help." And he said, "I'm not from this place. I don't know how I can help you. I don't know how, but I and I feel you. I know that this is a message that I have to share." So I'm putting that out there. The waters speak, and if you listen carefully enough, you can hear. So tonight, as it's raining and the rain hits the top of your roof, the rain hits the porch, the rain hits the railings, the rain hits your face, there's a sound that comes from our beautiful waters. and just sit and listen to what the waters may be starting to say or trying to say to us. And we do know that as the moon influences the water, that there is more, I would say, more action when we have the full moon. It's like the tides are higher, and if there's a hurricane or a storm coming at the time of the high tides, well, then the destruction or the effect is a lot stronger. So the so everything revolves around, the voice that our energy systems, the sun, the moon, the rain, the grandfather thunders, the voices of nature that are always speaking to us, that are always trying to make sure that we are put on track. And when we don't listen, it's up to us to understand that we have a responsibility to do so. So as we travel, we always try to use the moons. Almost every time we have used the moons in order to create the ceremonies that we needed to create. And so I'll leave it here, and I'll ask Jackie to um, offer any other words that she'd like to offer.
Yeah, I guess first I want to say nyawa to Susan for sharing that new little life that's come to this place, and just recognizing, yeah, that's Grandmother Moon's responsibility is to take care of and to ensure that new life continues, whether it's the plants, the creatures, or us as human beings. And so we see that beauty all the time, eh? And just so grateful, yeah, for being a Dutta at this time for me too, for 20 something years now. So it's been life changing, just as life changing as it was when you give birth to your first child. It's
Yes.
it's such a special gift, and to know that, and yeah, just experiencing that. And I think one of you mentioned that you're way down in Mississippi, but there's so much energy, so much things that connect us no matter where we are, on this Turtle Island. And when you were sharing about those waters in that area, a friend of mine a few months ago traveled down to Texas for the very purpose of visiting this spot. And I forget exactly where it is. I'd have to go back to the email and look at and see the picture. She sent me a picture from that place, and she traveled there because at the full moon would reflect on the water, and it recreated a rainbow.
Nice.
It was so beautiful, and I had to share that with the folks that I work with. And yeah, just to see that and to know that, that wow, like there's a lot of messages that are put out there to help those waters, to help with our Grandmother Moon. And I think one of them is what Gail mentioned about, okay, we can all do something, we have a way of communicating, and whatever that might be. And especially during this time, and some recognize this as the bear moon. So working kind of like through those vision quests, we're looking encouraged to communicate in a different way, more through the energy rather than sound. But sound is a vibration, sound is and that creates its own energy, but when we look at that energy, then wow, a lot of beautiful things can happen. And I was witness to that with in walking with Josephine Mandamin, Grandmother Josephine, walking around the Great Lakes, and just experiencing that, and what we could do with our prayers, with our medicines, and that was offered to every water that we crossed. And so in the full moons that I've helped with, I've asked folks to even just go look at that site of Mother Earth Water Walkers, because there's a water song there And you can learn that song just by listening to it over and over and over again. Okay? It's like a short prayer that's put into song, and it acknowledges those waters. And even our thoughts, like I was talking about that good mind, how we can move things forward in that good positive way, working with that good positive energy in our words, in our songs, and the gift of all of those things that we have that come together. And so I just want to, I guess, put that out there, because sometimes folks will say, well, what can I do? I'm just one person, eh? But it's like this water. We're all a collective of that, because these are all droplets. And you can probably see all the little sparklies, on the side of the glass there. And those will represent those kind of those air bubbles, but in that glass is droplets and droplets and droplets of water that make up that whole container. And that's what we are. Right? We've got a droplet in Mississippi, we've got a droplet on Six Nations, and we've got a droplet in Niagara, and multiple within all those areas. And so I think that's the energy. That's how we can communicate and put that good medicine out there. Not only for us, but even for the ones that can't, or even for the ones that don't know, okay, about our ways, or how these things can happen, how it works, kind of, how it works for us and how we see that. So, yeah.
Miss Susan.
Okay. Thank you. That was beautiful. Both of you. That was just beautiful. Thank you. I'm just going to kind of wrap up now with my thoughts. Yes, that's how we're doing this, right? I'm going to bring my water back up again and just share this with you. This past Monday, Monday was my birthday when I got really old for a whole day. No, that wasn't the same. Wednesday. I was supposed to be in Chicago, helping. I've been helping to organize the MMIW meeting there at the Daly Center in Chicago, but I couldn't find anyone to stay with my husband that I felt comfortable with. So at the last minute, I didn't get to go, and I was sad and disappointed, but I suddenly had an opportunity to speak on a radio program that same morning. It's really weird how this is all happening. We're all in that place where wherever it is that the wind is blowing us and the water is flowing, if we're following, we're going to end up there. So that's what happened. And I found myself doing that. And one of the things that I'm working on right now is the fact that we have had a missing girl in our community here, our little tiny town of Nauvoo. Tiny. We don't have anyone here. We don't have anything. And yet she's missing and disappeared. And so her grandmother's been working on it. I've been helping as little bit as I can, trying to get the word out, trying to get people to help to find out. We've found out so many things about the trafficking, even in our little town, in our little area here. What a challenge. And here I am doing the MMIW in Chicago, but here at home, it's so close to us all now. There isn't any of us. I wanted to say that tonight, just before Gail contacted me, she's been found. She's been found in Minneapolis, which is a long way away. She's only 14, but they found her up there. And it was such a huge, huge thing of relief. And I was thinking about this water as you were speaking just now, about these tears that we have. And the tears of these children, wherever they are, like that little child, they just found a little child under the stairs. All these things. We connect to those tears of those children every time we pick up a glass of water. And so as we bless that water, we can bless into their tears, into them, to let them know that they're loved. Even if they don't know our name, even if they don't know our face, they can feel in that moment that someone loves them and cares about them. and helps them in that moment to remember who they are. So I don't understand everything that's happening in our world right now. I do want to just quickly, I only have a couple minutes, and one more minute, but I'm going to say one day when I came home from Europe, I just had enough. That was it. I was done. And I called up Gail and I said, all right, that's it. I'm finished. I don't care what you say. I'm not doing this anymore. It's over. And Gail said, I'll be right there. She got in her truck and she drove 11, 12 hours down to my house. Just like that. Just like that. How many? Yeah. She got out of the truck. She said, come on, Miss Susan, you're coming with me. She took me down to the river. She sat down on a log. She made me sit down on the sand in front of her. And I'm crying. I'm not doing this anymore. This is too much for me. I can't do it. And she started to do my hair. And she started to take the knots out. And I'm sure you all know that. But as she did, every time there was a knot, there was a release. And so I think about that. I think about that all the time, how we can do that for each other, and how the wind does that for us, and how the water does that for us when we wash our hair, or when, like you said, Gail, as it falls on the roof, or it falls on us when we're walking in it. What a beautiful blessing it is for us to be here now, even though it is hard and it is a challenge, but our elders, as you said, foresaw this time. So I'm grateful. I thank you all for having me here. Aloha ke akua kuleana. Our work is sacred because we know who we are and who we belong to.
Oh my gosh. You know, we never know what we're going to talk about once we get on. And there was a time when we thought, well, maybe we should do some PowerPoints, or maybe we should do something because, boy, what if I run out of words? But an hour has come and gone. And I'm just thinking of all the things I could still say, to talk about the blessings that we give and receive, every day of our lives. I just would like to kind of close off by saying, remember that grandmother is a living entity, just like Mother Earth is a living entity, and sometimes Mother Earth, need to have sustenance. So, what kind of sustenance can we offer it, and when should we offer the sustenance? So, the full moon is a beautiful time because she's out there, she's standing, she's in her glory, her arms are out, and she's saying, I send my blessings, and you go, thank you, grandmother. And you offer her berries, and you offer her your food, you offer her face, her treat. Hey, stranger! You offer that so that she may receive that beautiful blessing from you. And then something happens. It's like grandmother just starts to hug you even tighter. And she says, thank you, my grandchild. Thank you. And she accepts your offering, no matter whether it's a berry, no matter whether it's a feast. She accepts that humble offer because it came from your heart. And that makes your heart, I guess, beat with this love and this joy. So I just want to give Grandmother Ray the last minute. I think she's got a minute and a half here before we're kicked off of this broadcast. So welcome.
No, it was my turn to sit back and listen, and I enjoyed it. Thank you for all your wisdom. I said you are a group of amazing women, and it was nice just to sit back and know that I don't have to be in front all the time. I like to sit back and listen too. And Grandmother Moon, she does that all the time. She's listening and checking to see who is around, and know that it's quite an awakening. We said we want PowerPoints. We are the PowerPoints.
I like that. Very nice.
We don't need visual aids. We are the visual aids. I was just saying you are amazing, and I'm so grateful that we all have come together, and I miss you all, and I'm so grateful that we have time together and to share what it is to be a grandma, what it is to be the holders of water. And so with all of you, take that in right now and put it over your heart and take care of your water your water. You may have been grieving in this past few days. Just put that over your heart and take care of your water. This is what the old people would always do. Whenever their hearts were heavy, that's the first thing they went to, was put their hands over their hearts and help that water to restore it to become well. So that is my gift that was passed on to you, passed on to me, and passed on to those grandmas too. Because the work that we have to do brings many tears of renewal, knowing they're listening now, and it brings those tears of beauty. And so, to all you amazing women, you are the power and you are the points. So you don't need anything else.
Love it.
Feel the love. Can't you feel the love? So thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight from wherever you are. I see people have joined us from New Mexico, and I'm sure there's people who have joined us from all around, the world. So it's such a beautiful time, and I have to thank COVID for that, because otherwise we would be standing in our own private circles somewhere, not being able to share with everyone like we can tonight. So thank you to the time that we have just been going through, for the opportunity to be able to connect with everyone. May you all have sweet dreams. May you all feel the love, and may you all get your blessing from Grandma Moon, and may you give her a blessing in return. Nyawa. Yeah.